Hello, everyone. Welcome to Astrologer Climate Witness. This is a quick video because this thing has been rolling around in my head the last few days to a week in reference to Pluto and Aquarius and exactly what is happening right now out in the world, in the United States, but which affects the entire world. So, you know how we talked about Pluto through Capricorn transforming institutions and organizations by which civilization functions? Well, we didn't transform those organizations and institutions. They still held on to the power that they had. So it's almost at this point, gee, maybe we should have, maybe we missed those old forms of oppression that were in existence with Pluto and Capricorn and before that, right? The ones we were supposed to change and make better. Because what we have now is the next version of Pluto power used negatively. So we have these oligarchs working through Aquarius now, and we're not at the point yet. Maybe down the road, the power will be dispersed and distributed among humanity for a positive result, but it would happen and we would be functioning in that sense in a world that is completely degraded. And that's why it would be dispersed. There wouldn't be any centralized power, but that's way down the road if you ask me. And it wouldn't be that many people left. But what I'm talking about right now is how the oligarchs have taken the reins of power and they're using those reins of power through technology, through Aquarian energy. And it's not positive, it's very negative. So, just to say that Pluto, when people talk about Pluto and Aquarius and they're so only looking one sided at it as if it's going to be this utopian, wonderfully technologically oriented utopia. And we're not going to experience any negatives through it. I mean, that's the impression that's given. Almost all astrological interpretations are given through this screen of, oh, butterflies and, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it that way, but they don't really come to terms with reality. And human behavior is a multi-pronged fork. I mean, we have all kinds of people with all kinds of personalities. And the personalities that are the big ones right now that everybody's, kowtowing to are real negative, sociopathic, narcissistic types of personalities. And everybody's jumping through hoops in order to make them pay attention to them and hoping that they can ride the coattails of these supposed all-powerful beings. Now, okay, my theory, and it is just a theory, I'm guessing, but everybody realizes that Elon Musk wants to get into the U.S. Monetary system, the Treasury, and get the reins of power to get money for his projects, right? His pet projects, his Mars project, etc. But it's even deeper and more. To him, it's not sinister, I don't think. But he is sinister. What he's trying to do, I think, is he wants to be this legendary figure down the road, 100 years from now, hundreds of years now, as the one person that forged the beginnings of human civilization on Mars. I mean, yes, we've known he wants to go to Mars, but he wants to be the one that everybody remembers. And the only way he can really push this whole agenda, and it is a big agenda, not just a rocket to go to Mars, getting a man to Mars. No, no, no. He wants to establish civilization on Mars. And he wants to be the one remembered for that. So this is a theory, again, of mine. Okay. But if you realize what he's trying to do, take the reins of power and money of most, the richest nation on earth, and do with what he wants. Do with it what he wants. The money, etc. He could organize all of the power and all of the money toward his massive project to move civilization to Mars, which isn't really possible. I mean, okay, he's probably got some scientists behind him, who knows who or how many, thinking that they can do this. But again, we have to be reminded it took millions of years to terraform Earth to the point of having life, and then complex life, and then very complex life on it. So if you think you're going to have a couple of people, in the beginning it would be a few, go to Mars and begin the process of terraforming Mars so that more and more people could go to live there. I mean, come on. Really? But I really think that's what it is. His delusion of being this hero to get civilization started on Mars, I think, is what he's truly trying to do. And it is a delusion. But, certain people, instead of realizing that any mass accomplishment is done through team effort, collaboration, and uh, everyone just cooperating and working together, no one person really is the ultimate hero of the situation. We have that tendency as humans. We worship a leader, a person to worship, one super person, superhuman that everybody can look up to, and we follow, right? And that's what he thinks he is. That's my take, okay? And he will do anything he can to get all of the resources of the United States and possibly some other countries to help him establish this dream, this delusion that he has to begin life on Mars, civilization on Mars. I think that's where he thinks he's headed. And another thing that I was thinking of, you know how Trump keeps saying that he wants to have Canada be the 51st state, and that, he wants to take Panama and Greenland? Well, number one, how would he be so confident that he keeps talking about this? I mean, he keeps bringing it up, and he knows everybody's making fun of it. He's got to know that. So how is it he thinks can be so confident that he keeps repeating it? Well, this is my thing. See, I think Musk has a way into, it's just my theory, see, if Musk has all of the data and mechanisms of treasury and whatnot that he can get into of the United States financial dealings and treaties and the like, and money handling between countries, he has the ability, Musk does, to possibly enter into the financial systems of another country. Yes, see what I'm getting at here with Starlink and everything that he's got going on? He might think that he can take the bull by the horns of the financial institutions of Canada and have Canada under our boot in that sense. Like mob bosses, they can infiltrate not only the mechanisms of money handling or money laundering and all that, but in here, you know. So if you get somebody or a few people on the Canadian side who think, okay, you know what? If they let me in on all this, the United States of Musk, he wants to, If I get on his good side and I help him establish certain pathways, like an electronic invasion in Canada, maybe I'll be, one of the huge benefactors of all this, right? So all he has to do is get in their electronic systems, their financial systems, and then get a few people that are on that side, buys them off. He could possibly hold Canada hostage through these methods, through the electronic systems, money systems, etc. You see what I'm saying? Again, maybe going too far here, but it's a thought. I mean, why would Trump be so confident that he would say these things? They must have a way to accomplish Canada being the 51st state. And what would that be? The only thing I can think of is invasion through electronic systems into the money system of Canada. So, all right, I might be sounding a little bit far out here, but those are the things I'm thinking of. We have oligarchic power running through Aquarius, the electronic, digital, technological takeover. Pluto won, and it's using Aquarius. Okay. Now, I have a lot more to study on all of this. It's just been rolling around in my head, and I've been looking into some things. Remember, Mars is going to go direct. I think it's the 23rd of February. That's what I remember looking at. I haven't looked at it lately. But I'm just so inundated by all the political events. I don't know why I keep yawning. All the political events and the constant, like they say, some of the reporters are saying it's a fire hose, and it's like between the trying to pay attention to the astrology, the astrology is not that complicated. You don't have to look at every little thing. That's why I like to work with the outer planets. I mean, yes, the inner planets, some of them, they really are trigger points to show timing, right? But you've got all these outer planets. Oh, and remember, back a good many episodes ago, I talked about Neptune through Aries in the fourth house of the United States. And then, of course, Saturn's going to be there. And what are we hearing? I was referring to how Neptune was in Aries at the beginning of some of the Crusades. I mean, the Crusades went on for a long time. But, that identifying with the utopian ideas, that religious, spiritual, it never turns out to be all that spiritual, but the religious orientation, um, the what's the word I'm looking for? The delusion in some cases of being the people. We are the people, right? That are going to be saved. I mean, that is passing through the fourth house of the United States, and that's what we've got now. And if they keep pushing with what they're doing, with Trump doing his whole, oh, there's too much prejudice against, Christians, everything, but he's anti-Christian. Nobody's anti-Christian. They're anti-pushing Christianity and making laws according to religion. That's what we're against. Remember, religion or spirituality is a personal thing that you practice yourself. You learn your connection with the beyond, whatever that may be. It could just be whatever's inside. You do that on your own. And yes, you can share it with other people and have your group, but you can't force people to believe like you do. Okay? That's wrong. Completely wrong. And anybody watching this who's not into astrology might think that I'm trying to do that by saying what I'm saying. Well, you could turn it off. I'm not making a law. You can go somewhere else. You don't have to follow what I'm saying. It's not a law. I'm just coming up with these ideas. And it's really not saying that Pluto is doing this. And we know that, even though it makes sound like I'm saying that sometimes, but it's just out of convenience, the way I put it. It's a mirror. Astrology is a mirror showing us what we're doing and what's inside of us, what our behaviors. It's showing us our behaviors. It's not causing them. So, okay, this was supposed to be short, and I may pick up on this again. But Musk's takeover of the United States, the levers of government through a digital and electronic uh, invasion, using his power to manipulate the monies and power of the United States in the ways he wants to for his purposes. And I think that is to manage this massive orientation toward, hey, everybody's going to move to Mars. I mean, that's, I think, what he's trying to do. Civilization on Mars. That he thinks he's the beginning of that. And that he's the founder of this. And then again, he may be trying to have other countries help, but I think he's trying to be very strategic, because by using other countries too, I mean, it could get a little sticky sometimes depending on what goes on everywhere. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be successful. No way. I mean, he may not even be able to get a rocket to Mars. If he gets a rocket to Mars, I'll be amazed. But he just thinks he's this legendary figure that's going to be the founder of civilization on Mars. And we are being oppressed by Aquarian energy. We're not being freed by it right now. Doesn't mean down the road things won't change, but it's going to take a while. It's 20 years worth of Pluto and Aquarius. And I do believe that the main way that that's going to happen, that the people get the power back, is because of the ecological breakdown that we're going to be experiencing over time. And the center won't hold. So they won't be able to hang on to power, but it's going to be, you've seen these movies where technology is the oppressor, the drones chasing people, and everybody's on camera all over. You have no freedom, nowhere to run. I mean, think about um, people in the Middle East, especially way back when we first found oil, and they needed, and then especially when we needed in the 70s to go, sorry, to go to the Middle East to get oil because we had reached peak oil here in the United States. Can you imagine being a Bedouin or a Muslim or going to mosque, or somebody out in the desert with his, a pastoralist, with his herd, and you see these airplanes, and then you see these massive trucks coming. You don't know what your government's done. You don't know that they're saying, especially back in the 70s. I mean, there wasn't that much progress there for the average person out in the rural areas to know what was going on, right? So you see this coming, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? And then even in the cities or in small towns, you see these Americans coming, or even other foreign people, and you're like, they're invading, and they're interrupting our culture. And now, don't get me wrong, I'm not really a proponent of Muslim religion with the way that they treat women and everything, but what I'm saying here is, if you're wondering why there was so much hatred, what would you do if you went outside and some hugely technological um alien thing came down and chased you down? And you see what I'm getting at? Like, why wouldn't there be resistance to Americans? Why wouldn't there be? Yeah, of course there would be. You'd do the same thing if some extreme modern thing came around and was invading you, or people from somewhere else, or the aliens from someplace came and invaded you and tried to change your culture or interrupted your culture, and not in a good way most of the time. Most of the time it was done very, very disrespectfully, and things were done that were extremely um, hurtful to people. So if you wonder why there was such resistance in the past and even now, think about what went down over those decades. With when we had to get it, we went in and did what we wanted to get oil. I mean, anybody would fight back, right? Um, okay, so I guess that's it for now. I'm not going to make this too long. I'm going to coalesce this into a little bit better of a description. But, we did not use our own Plutonian power to break down the institutions and organizations by which civilization functioned while Pluto was in Capricorn. And we could have done that or should have done that to help save our biosphere, break down industrialism, break down capitalism. But we didn't. And so now we have the next version of power, which is Pluto and Aquarius, more oppression, even more oppression. Through electronic surveillance and electronic, interference into your lives by having all your data and manipulation of the levers of government through electronic power. Okay, so that's it for today. I'm not sure if I'm going to publish this. I didn't dress up or anything, but see you later.